Welcome to the 2019 World Classic Powerlifting Championships here in Helsingborg, Sweden. I am Six-Pack Lapidat, and here on Platform 2, we will have the Master 3 74-kilo men battling out for world honors. Gonna give a quick shout out to our sponsors here, Alico, Uplift, and SBD. Without their generous support, none of this would be possible. And Kevin Payne from Great Britain is going to kick us off with a 112.5 kilo opener. Kevin has hit 125 kilo previously for his personal best. Looks deep enough, moved well enough. Judges give it to him, and that's really all you need for an opener. You don't want to work too hard. It's a long day. You only got so much energy in the tank. You only got so much excitement you can give for each lift. And 120 kilo being loaded on the bar for Seymundur Gudmundsson of Iceland. And Iceland, despite only being around 300,000 people, has a handful of times had the world's strongest man produced, had the CrossFit Games champion in the women's division produced, soccer team qualifying for Worlds and European Championship. I don't know what's in the water there, but they are athletic. If you see someone from Iceland in your flight and you're competing against them, keep your eyes on them. Depth looks good to me. See if the judges agree. They do. And he's on the board with 120 kilo. $135 kilo being loaded for Furuta. Haruhiko Furuta previously hit 140 kilo as a personal best, been competing 40 years. 4 decades of competitive experience behind him. Do not expect him to get caught up in the moment. Now, 135 for an opener and 140 for a personal best doesn't seem like on the surface a lot of room to grow. I kicked off the telecast saying, usually you don't want to expend too much energy too early. But let's see how he handles this. Very high bar, wide grip. All right, well, I find it hard to believe 140 is his limit. Handled 135 quite easily. Patrick Malefont from France. 137.5 kilo being loaded on the bar for him. Previously, he was good for 147.5. How this moves will give us a bit of an indication the kind of jumps we might see from him. So far, all of these squats moving like openers should. Look, at the end of the day, people only ask you, what was your squat, what was your total? They don't care what your opener was. You're not trying to prove something with your opener. And Patrick sticks to the game plan, gets on the board. Daniel Guinon from France as well. 140 kilo for him. Now his previous personal best in his profile is 145. Again, opening just 5 kilo below your personal best in squat. Sounds a little tight, but as we've seen before, maybe that's not really a true representation of what his personal best is going to be. That's a very high bar, wide grip setup for a squat. Depth is for sure there. Yeah, well, he worked a little harder than the other gentleman. From the host country, Sweden, Hans Winbo, 38-year veteran, a prison officer, opening with 140 kilo, a good 15 kilo below his all-time best as a Master 3. Depth is good. Judges are going to have to agree. 3 white lights. Ketil Olsen from Norway, 39-year veteran. There is a wealth of experience in this lineup. 61 years of age, opening with 145 kilo. Previously hit 157, and obviously Norway, in terms of those traveling internationally, not as drastic a travel. Moved well, see what the judges say. 3 whites, they thought so as well. Marty Kippelainen from Finland, 64 years old, 32 years competing. Now this is just 5 kilo below his personal best. Let's see how it moves. Deep for sure. Wow, that moved very well. Definitely more than 5 kilos in the tank from there. He's on the board though. Akinori Yasukura, 160. And Yasukura has previously hit 180. Plenty of room to grow there. Energy management and adrenaline management, very much key. And these gentlemen seem to agree. Deep. Solid. Never got bullied out of position. Chest up, elbows down, shoulders together, knees tracked over the feet. Fairly textbook. Joe Marksteiner from the US, the inventor of the new IPF formula. 40 years in the game. Engineer, and if you've spoken with him, he's a pretty bright guy. He knows how to crunch the numbers. And guess what? Also a hell of a lifter. 4 decades of experience competitively behind him. Seen it all. Him and his wife. Opening at 170. And it said on his profile 172.5 was his best squat. The way he just moved 170, I find that hard to believe. And Rino Puska from the host country, Sweden. Opening with 175. Says he's previously hit 200 kilo. 36 years in the game, 60 years old. So he is brand spanking new to the Master 3s. We'll see how 175 moves. Oh, pretty smooth and easy. Wow. And Bernard Vachon from Canada, opening with 192.5. He has hit 202.5. 64 years old. Competing only 3 years. Already moving some serious weight. And intense for an opener. But some of these guys, they can keep the intensity up. Depth is there. He worked a little bit for that one. Some guys like to feel a little bit of weight in their opener to turn themselves on. 3 whites. And Kevin bringing the pain from Great Britain. Jumping 5 kilo to 117.5. His opener moved well. I'm not expecting this to push it too far for him. He's hit 125 previously. Only competing 3 years, so the 125 kilo personal best cannot be that old of a number. Yeah, 117.5 moves well. Sometimes if you see one judge calling depth and the others don't, it's not at all uncommon for a lifter to have one hip floats a little higher than the other. You see that often, actually. Also, obviously, 3 different vantage points. And Simander Gudmundsson from Iceland, 130 kilo on the bar for him, 10 kilo jump, and still got 10 more kilo before he reaches his top end. At least historically. Now, is that the case for today? We're going to find out. I do like his setup. The hands are close to the shoulders, elbows down, the shoulder blades squeezed tight. Big breath for the brace. Knees over the, oh, might be a little high though. I think he might have cut that. Well, the judges pass it. And he gets it. 145 for Patrick Malefont of France. 61 years old, been competing 5 years. 7.5 kilo jump, still got 2.5 kilo until we reach his personal best. But if 147.5 was his personal best and we're at 145 already, I'm expecting this is going to be some work. Yeah. It's a little ambitious to get that close to your top end on your second lift. Not only do you, obviously if you picked a number in between your opener and that second attempt, he would have put that towards his total, but you're expending gas from the gas tank. Now you got a leaky gas tank. How much are you expending? You missed that. Are you going to go back out and try to hit that again? More gas you're going to expend. Energy preservation early on. Now, Daniel Guinot of France, 145 kilo loaded on the bar for him, 5 kilo jump. This is going to equal his personal best. And he gets it. Gets it, 3 whites. I don't know how much more he wants to increase on that. The Frenchman going pretty heavy on their second attempts. But sometimes when it's your third, you can kick it into high gear and you have another level to shift into. Now, Haruhiko Furuta of Japan, 145, 10 kilo jump. This will be a 5 kilo personal best for him, competing 4 decades. 60 years old, which makes him brand new into the Master Threes. Oh, wow. I dare say that's not 5 kilo over his personal best. 140 was not his personal best. He looks like he has a whole lot more in the tank. And Ketil Olsen of Norway, 150 kilo, 5 kilo jump for him. Depth looks good. Chest up, elbows under the bar. Picks up 2 out of 3 white lights, and that's all he needs. He's asking the side judge why he got a red, and the side judge gave him a white. You don't want to change your mind. Leave it at that, sir. And Hans Winbo of Sweden jumping 10 kilo from his opener. Still 5 kilo underneath his personal previous best. That could change today. 38-year veteran of the game, 61 years young. Master Threes means you're in your 60s, so hasn't been in the M3s long. Hits depth, no question about that. 3 white lights. Marty Kipalainen. I believe his profile picture needs updating, but 160. 10 kilo jump. He's hit 155 as a previous best. Is this a 5 kilo personal best in only his second attempt? Let's see how this moves. "32 years competing. Depth, no question. Oh, wow. I think that personal best squat on his profile needs updating as well. Moved that well, got plenty more in the tank. And 170 being loaded on the bar for Akinori Yasukura of Japan. 10 kilo jump, but 10 kilo away from his personal best. "15-year veteran. So far only had 1 failed attempt. That looks good. Guts it out, kept his chest up, elbows down. Oh, wow, he got called on depth there. Depth looked pretty good from my angle, but I have a different angle. So, nonetheless, moves forward, and we have Joe Mark Steiner with 180 kilo being loaded, 10 kilo jump. Joe looks all business. 40-year veteran at the game. Been competing since the late 70s. Depth looks good. Very solid. Never gets pushed around by those weights. Up and down, straight line on that bar path. And Joe looks like he could be a problem down the road for all the other lifters. Now, Reno Puska of Sweden, host nation, 185 kilo, 10 kilo jump for him. He's hit 200 kilo previously, so this should be within his means. And he's credited with the lift, 10 kilos added towards his total. Bernard Vachon of Canada, 202.5. This is going to match his previous best. 192.5, I thought was work. That's a 10 kilo jump. It's also matching his personal best. It's ambitious. We'll see how much effort it takes to hit this, and if there's a lot of room to grow afterwards. Been competing 3 years, which is obviously a lot less than some of these other gentlemen. Been competing 30 to 40 years, but in your first few years, you do see a lot of progress. So perhaps that 202.5 personal best is already outdated. Depth. You know what? It looked consistent. It looked around the same as his opener. Maybe he just moves. Some lifters, they move slow and consistent, and that's the way they move it. You think they're at their max end and they got more in the tank. I think the 202.5 was well played. Probably not another 10 kilo jump, but definitely well played. And we're going to load up 122.5 for Kevin Payne of Great Britain's third and final attempt. And so far, just one failed squat attempt. These gentlemen are on point with their attempt selection. But coming into the thirds, this is where people want to empty the tank and try not to go over their limit. Kevin has hit 125 before, likely back home in Britain. Staying a little under his limit. Oh, I think he got it though. We'll see what they like about his depth. He had a pause, but he pushed through it. Depth, no. You know, it was borderline. One judge said yes, two said no. 140 for Seymour Goodmanson. This will match his personal best and a good 10 kilo jump from his second attempt. 67 years old, picked up the sport at 61. Looking to match the best squat of his life. It's depth. Oh, nope. Not today. Gives the spotter a pound. Thanks for the catch, fellas. Spotter's been right on cue this whole time so far. And Patrick Melefon from France, 145. A second go round at it. It is 2.5 kilo below his personal best. Patrick, 61 years old, been powerlifting 5 years. Whoa, that was very deep. Oh, wow. Nice comeback there. That was very deep. Left no question about depth. Showed a lot of heart to get that one. And Daniel Guénon from France, 150 kilo. It's a 5 kilo jump from his second attempt and a 5 kilo jump over his previous squat PR. At 65, he's been competing 10 years. And he looks a whole lot more fired up than his second attempt was. That's a pretty high bar position, almost on his neck, the base of his neck, and a pretty wide grip. It'll kind of make your chest come forward when it gets heavy, like it is right now. Oh, but he gets it. 3 white lights, and there's a personal best, and 3 for 3 in the squats. 5 extra kilo going towards his total, and 155 being loaded on the bar for Ketil Olsen of Norway. Ketil, 2 kilo even away from his personal best. Now it's probably a Norwegian national record. We always jump up 2.5 kilo increments. So 157.0 would indicate a national record. Depth looks good. And it slows on the ascent, but never stops. And Olsen picks up another 5 kilo towards his total. Now the host nation lifter, Hans Winbo of Sweden. 155 kilos going to stay on the bar. 38 years old, prison officer. Looking to push his streak 3 for 3. It's depth, nicely done. Lets out a war cry, and I'm gonna say it's good. Judges agree, and he's happy. 155 once again stays on the bar, seems to be a popular number. And Haruhiko Furuta of Japan, 10 kilo jump. And according to his profile anyways, if that's to be believed, 15 kilo over his best. But judging by the way he handled 145, I think that 140 best squat was just to throw us off his trail. Forty-year veteran, he's got all types of tricks in his bag. He hits depth. Oh, wow, holy moly. Nicely squatted out. Oh, that's a shame. You know, he got 1 white. They are allowed to go to the jury table if you get a white. For a fight like that, if I'm the head coach, I'm asking the question and strutting over to the jury table, because why not? Your guy just let his heart out there to get it. But the Japanese are very rarely go to the jury, I've noticed. And Marty Kipalainen of Finland taking a 10 kilo jump. 32-year veteran of the game. He's been taking 10 kilo jumps this whole squat event. Nice setup, nice squat form on Marty. And he looked like he had a lot more in the tank. On his profile said 155 kilo best squat. That was a lie. He handled 170 like he had 180 maybe still in him. And Akinori Yasukura of Japan loading up 180. He also has been taking 10 kilo jumps. His profile says 180 is his previous best, and he's looking to match that today. Akinori, very technical with his squat. Really gets the most out of his body. Depth is there. Look at him stay in the pocket. Chest never dips. Elbows down. Knees tracking over the feet. And that's how squatting is done, ladies and gentlemen. Speaking of squat technique, Mark Steiner, 40-year vet, 66 years old, flight safety engineer, stats man, and the inventor of the IPF formula. Seen how many generations, how many cycles of powerlifting could write a book on it after 40 years in the game. Looking for 187.5. Nice low bar setup. Rebreathes. Depth is there for sure. Oh, wow, look at that struggle. And he never gets bullied by the weight. Slows right down, but stays in the pocket, refusing to get jerked around, and he's happy with it. That is squatting 101 when you're maxing out. I don't know if he had even half a kilo more in the tank. The Canadian, pardon me, American coaching staff, very on point with their attempt selection for Joe. I guess if you've been in the game 40 years, you're probably going to be able to help him out. Now, Rino Puska of Sweden, 192.5, looking to go 3 for 3 as well. And I tell you what, these gentlemen's hit ratio in the squat event, probably the highest I've seen so far in the IPF World Championships. We'll have to see what they say about that depth. Moved well enough. Yep, they were split decision, but it went his way. And the Canadian, Bernard Vachon, is going for a world record attempt, 207. Now, 202.5 was definitely work, but 192.5, 10 kilo less, which is sizable, moved about the same. So I think Bernard is the type of guy, it really doesn't matter how much weight you put on the bar. He's getting tight. He's moving it somewhat slow, but it's going to move for him. Is 4.5 kilo going to break the bank? Competing only 3 years and looking to become the best 74 kilo M3 squatter of all time. It's bold, it's ambitious, it's gutsy, but he certainly doesn't look afraid. Vachon looks determined. Vachon wants it. Like a man waiting outside of a bar for a fight, Vachon approaches the bar. And if he hits this, it immediately puts him in great position for a total that could net him the world title. A lot of lifting to go. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Very controlled, definitely depth. Oh, wow, that man is powerful. And you know what? There was a pause, but I don't think there was a down up. I think he's got it. And the judges agree. Wow. All types of strength on Vachon. And what did I tell you about his lifts all looking almost the same? From his opener looked like work, and he had plenty more in the tank, historically speaking, even so. Now, the way it shook up, Puska of Sweden, home nation, takes the silver in the squat event, and Mark Steiner, the Grizzly veteran, takes the bronze. Plenty of lifting left to go. You don't want to miss how this ends. I got a feeling we got a battle, and the intensity is already high. We're going to take a 20-minute break and come back with the bench press event. Six-pack lap it at. See you in 20. Welcome back to the 2019 World Classic Powerlifting Championships here in Helsingborg, Sweden. I am six-pack Lapidat, and we are picking up with the Master 3 74-kilo bench press. And Akinori Yasukura is going to kick us off with a 90-kilo opener. He has previously hit 95 kilo. Expecting this opener to move well. Textbook Japanese setup, wide grip. Pretty smooth, lots of room to grow. And Akinori is on the board. 180 will stay in the bar for Seymundur Gudmundsson of Iceland. Now Seymundur's previous personal best 95 or 85 kilos, sorry. That's a lot closer. 5 kilo on the bench press. And some people like moving up 2.5 kilo at a time. He gets it, but it's definitely work. Not a heck of a lot of room to grow from there. You hate to start failing attempts. In terms of gassing out and expending energy, it's when you fail and start grinding that you really start losing energy. And on the bench press, if you're going up 2.5 kilo, you don't empty the tank for 2.5 kilo. You know, it's going to greatly diminish your deadlift. You got to think about the risk-reward situation now. 80 kilo for Kevin Payne of Great Britain, and no such great ask for his opener. Nice, smooth, and easy. Gives a thumbs up. Joe Mark Steiner, 82.5, previously hit 92.5, well underneath his best bench. And again, he's probably on the same page in terms of openers. Just hit it, move some weight, get on the board. Some people like to use, well, if I miss my second and third, I want my opener to be big enough when it goes towards my total. It's significant enough. Well, if you're already in the mindset of moving towards your total with only your opener, you got a faulty mindset. Joe hits that easy, as they should. And Bernard Vachon of Canada, 82.5 kilo. He's hit a 95 kilo bench press. And I'm going to pull Bernard up right now because I got a feeling. I don't know if I called his Calgary session, but he is ringing a bell to me. Two 82.5, well within his means. Yeah, no difficulty there. And 100 kilo even for Patrick Malefont of France. Previously hit 105 as his personal best. Again, on the surface, you would think that's a little close to open, that close to your personal best. But we'll see how he moves it. Pretty smooth and well. Judges agree.
Horse number 2. Hang from a hook over. So
100-kilo even for Daniel Guénot of France. And he's good, 2-1. Now, I just looked up Bernard Vachon of Canada, and yeah, I know why his name rings a bell and I remember him. In Canada last year, he actually won the Master 374-kilo World Championships. And the way things are unfolding right now, he's definitely the favorite to successfully defend his title, but there's a lot of lifting left to go. And some of the gentlemen that appear here today were not there last year when he won, so today is a new day. Let's see if he can repeat. 100-kilo even for Hans Winbo. Handles it well. 3 white lights. $105 loaded on a bar for Renaud Puska of Sweden. 60 years old, 36 years competitive powerlifting. 115 kilo for his personal best. Nice and smooth, well done. Ketil Olsen of Norway, 112.5 for his opener. 5 kilo below his personal best. 39-year veteran of powerlifting. Three white lights and he's good. Martti Kipalainen, representing Finland, opening with 120 kilo. Personal best listed as 125, if his profile is to be believed. Some of these gentlemen are blowing right past their personal bests. Moves just like an opener should. Yeah, I think Marty's personal best listed for his squats also. He just decimated those and blew right past them. And just a quick note, we do have 2 platforms going on right now. On platform 1 is Master 3 83 kilo. Good action. Second best commentator in the game over there. But we have 127.5 for Furuta. Easily handles that. .85 kilo being loaded on the bar for Seymunder Gudmundsson. Seymunder previously hit 85 kilo as his personal best. .5 kilo jump from his opener. Oh, the arms are shaking. Failed right off the chest. Now, sometimes it could be a misgroove. In terms of the bench press, you're trying to get the bar as close to the touch point, or I should say your touch point, as close to under your shoulders as you can. So that's why we set up the way we do as powerlifters. It does mitigate the range of motion, but it also gets the fulcrum of the lever, being your arm, as close to the touch point, being your chest, as possible. And sometimes a misgroove means it just floated away from the optimal touch point. 85 kilo for Kevin Payne of Great Britain. He gets 3 white lights.
Sorry.
87.5 kilo loaded on the bar for Joe Marksteiner of the U.S. Still 5 kilo below his personal best. Handles it well. 3 white lights, and Joe 5 more kilo towards his total. Defending world champion Bernard Vachon, 87.5 kilo. He's capable of 95. And you see when we're talking about energy management, you've seen how fired up Bernard was for his 3rd squat, world record squat, gold medal squat. And you see, even though we're in the 2nd attempts for bench, you know, just kind of keeping himself a little more reserved. Expect him to get all types of fired up again come 3rd attempts and in the deadlift when he needs it. You can't go wild for all 9 lifts. You got to pick your battles. Ooh, and that is, nope, coming back down on him now. It is a good 7.5 kilo below his personal best, but in terms of bench press anyways, not having his best day. He can make some adjustments. It would be interesting to see if he fails his 3rd bench, the door swings open and suddenly some contenders start catching up on him. He was a heavy favorite early on, but that's why in sports you can't just go by the numbers, you can't go by the regular season play. You got to hit the field and let it play out the way it's going to play out. 90 kilo for Akinori Yasukura of Japan, 15-year veteran. Oh, wow. Brakes are coming on that left side. I don't think he's, nope. You can only stand so long in that position, and it's taken a lot of effort. Again, ordinarily well below his best. And Patrick Malafont from France. 105, and that's going to match his personal best. 5 kilo jump. And that was smooth, easy, 105. Moved very well for him. Just an update, it looks like the Icelandic lifter hit his opener and has passed after missing his second. And you know what? Sometimes it's not a bad idea. Look, if you think you attempt your second, it's not there. Don't keep emptying the tank with max attempts for 5 extra kilo. You can completely drain yourself and tax the nervous system, diminishing your deadlift for 5 kilo on bench. It doesn't work. Some people want to get egotistical about it and say, I don't back down, I fight for my attempts, etc. But in terms of the bigger picture, in terms of strategizing, you got to question that type of thinking. It's a cost-reward situation. You don't want to spend $5 to gain $5 value. And we have 105 for Danielle Guinoa, France. And Daniel has very little trouble with his 105 attempt. Hans Winbo of Sweden also taking 105. Also a 5 kilo jump. Pretty smooth and easy. Reino Puska of Sweden, 5 kilo jump for him. 110 loaded on the bar. Slow and steady. 3 white lights, and he's got a little bit of room. Likely a 5 kilo jump for him. Speaking of 5 kilo jumps, Ketil Olsen of Norway taking a 5 kilo jump from his opener. This will match his personal best. 30 hard years in the game. Definitely worked, but he gets it. Matches his personal best. 2.5 kilos is the smallest increment you could rise. He's going to have to ramp up the intensity because it's definitely going to be tough. Now 125 for Marty Kipalainen of Finland. 5-kilo jump off of his opener, and this also will match his previous best. Although his PRs he had sent in on his profile all appear to be well underneath what he's actually capable of. Nicely done.
And good lead to drop, good lead to drop.
132.5 being loaded on the bar for Furuta. Gets the lift off. That's 2.5 kilo over his personal best, and he handles it well. 3 white lights. And Bernard Vachon coming up for 87.5 kilo once again, defending world champion. And the other contenders are starting to close that gap he built in the squat. Bernard wants to beat back the challengers. And looks good to me. 87.5 passes. Bernard breathes a sigh of relief. Kevin Payne of Great Britain. Also going to take a stab at 87.5 for his final bench. This will be a 1.5 kilo personal best for Kevin. Ooh, looks like 1.5 kilo, just too much. Just shy of lockout, it slowed down and stopped. 90 kilo now being loaded on the bar for Akinori. Akinori failed 90 on his second attempt, but just like Bernard Vachon, looking to take another swing at it. It'll be 10 extra kilo towards his total if he does. No, no, just a little too much today. Joe Mark Steiner, 90 kilo on the bar, 2.5 kilo more in the second attempt. Running over his liftoff with the spotter, something you always want to do. Make the liftoff consistent. You want to make sure you're set up when that liftoff comes. You also don't want to be out of position. And Joe handles that pretty smooth and easy. 90 kilo, I gotta assume, yep, successful. Patrick Malafont of France, jumping up 2.5 kilo to 107.5. This will be a 2.5 kilo personal best. And I think he's got it. Judges agree, 3 white lights. Patrick goes 3 for 3 in the bench and nets himself a personal best. Now, 107.5 will stay on the bar for Daniel Guénon of France. 10-year veteran of the game, also taking a 2.5 kilo jump. The two Frenchmen back to back to back. Every single one of their attempts is the exact same. Makes it a little easier for the handler. You can't possibly mix up the two lifters, or maybe he did, and that's why we're seeing them the exact same attempts. Well, however it happened, all's well that ends well. I think he's going to get that. It depends if they like the lockout. No, they did not. Little unsturdy, need the elbows locked. 107.5 stays on the bar. Hans Winbo of Sweden. Local nation. 2.5 kilo jump. This will match his personal best. Judges award him 3 for 3. And the Swede building, actually closing the gap on the Canadian as well as the Finnish lifter. Rino Puska, if he hits this, is starting to get himself within range. Certainly a favorite to end up on the podium. But depending how deadlifts go, where on the podium is yet to be determined. Oh no, you saw that right wrist. As soon as the knuckles started pointing towards us in the crowd, the wrist was turned over, and hard to regain when you're under max load like that. That 2.5 kilo was an important 2.5 kilo. Now, Ketil Olsen jumping to 130. Sorry, 120. $2.5 kilo jump. It is also a 2.5 kilos over his personal best. Not today. Now, Marty Kipalainen from Finland. If he hits this, his projected total is 505, with Bernard from Canada 509.5, just 4.5 kilos separating them if he hits this bench press. That sizable gap the Canadian had is starting to shrink. Marty can be within closing distance if he can hit this bench press. However, this is 5 kilo over his personal best. He needs the best bench day of his life to close this gap on the Canadian. And it stopped several times, but I don't think it ever, oh, there you go, the judges agree. It paused, but never came up down. And we are going to have ourselves a battle for the gold. First, Furuta Haruhiko is going to attempt 139.5 for a world record in the Master 3 74 kilo class. Furuta already has the gold medal in the bench press event. Looking to add the world record to his accolades. All eyes on platform 2. Oh, wow. Did he lock it out, though? No, he gave a titanic effort. I'll give him that. But he could not lock out his arms. Still walks away with the gold medal. And we are having a bit of a battle shaping up between Vachon of Canada and Kipalainen from Finland. You do not want to miss the conclusion of this. I think that's going to come down to the deadlifts and may come down to the very last deadlift, everybody. So I'll see you in 20 minutes from Six Pack Lapidat in Helsingborg, Sweden. See you in 20. Welcome back to the 2019 World Classic Powerlifting Championships. This is the Master 3 74 kilo showdown, and a battle has broken out between Vachon of Canada and Kippalainen of Finland, and some other contenders getting real close. Puska from Sweden, who is hosting these World Championships, and the hometown favorite is starting to also close that gap. We're going to start off with the deadlifts at 145 kilo loaded for Furuta of Japan. I'd like to give a quick shout out to Aliko, Aplift, and SPD, we see in the back banner. Furuta. Nope, no lift. Does get one white, and the Japanese, as I stated earlier, very rarely will go to the jury table. When you get a white, you're allowed to go to the jury table, see what they say. I seen one of the judges pointing towards their knee. You need your knees locked, you need your shoulders back. Obviously can't do any ramping up. I don't think there's any hitching involved. But if you don't have the conversation with the jury, you're stuck at leaving it at that. Now, 155 for Patrick Malefant of France. Nicely handled. Seymundur Gudmundsson of Iceland, 160 kilo loaded for him. He has pulled 190 in the past. That's a 30 kilo spread, so this should move pretty easily for him. And the deadlift can take a lot out of you, so you don't need 3 heavy ones. Get on the board, use your opener as a bit of a warm-up. Things really fell off. You know, the wheels fell off that bus if your opener is going towards your total, so you really don't need to be thinking towards your opener being heavy enough that it can contribute towards your total. That's got to be a worst case scenario. Daniel Guinot of France, 167.5 kilo. Now he looks under a bit of distress. It is 2.5 kilo over what's listed as his personal best. $170 kilo for Akinori Yasukura. Picks up 3 white lights. He's on the board. Once you hit your opening dead, your total is assured and solidified. Then you can really start moving, gaining ground. Looking at the rankings, decided if you're going to make a play to up the rankings, possibly podium. But you don't want to do any of that with your opener. Solidify the total. Joe Mark Steiner looking to do just that with 175. Looks good, looks smooth. 3 white lights. Hans Winbo of Sweden. 185 loaded on the bar for him. On the Swedish national powerlifting team. Breathes a bit of a sigh of relief. That looked like a little bit of work for an opener. And Kevin Payne of Great Britain, opening with 185. Personal best is 205. Leaving himself a little bit of breathing room. Rino Puska of Sweden, 190 kilo. Moved pretty good. He's pulled 220. Got plenty of room to spare. And Kittel Olsen, 200 kilo even for his opener. Olsen representing Norway. And that's about how you want your opener to look. Nice, smooth, and easy. Less excitement, the better. Marty Kipalainen of Finland. Creeping up on Canada's Bernard Vachon. Marty has pulled 222.5 kilo previously. And historically speaking, his personal best he's got on his profile have been under what he's capable of. So he could really creep up on the Canadian and unseat him. Let's see how he handles 205. Oh, slowed right down above the knees though. Fast off the ground, slowed above the knees. Bernard Vachon of Canada. He's got a small lead. Certainly 4.5 kilo is not much of a lead in a deadlift event to overcome. But it looked like Kipalainen had to put in work for 205 for an opener. Let's see how Bernard handles 215. It should be noted he needs to hit this 215 for that 4.5 kilo lead. Should not get ahead of ourselves here. The intensity's back. It took a little bit of a hiatus during bench, but wow, look at the look on his face right there. Even for openers, he takes it serious. And it only gets more intense by the time the thirds roll around. Yes. Three whites. And Furuta is going to take another go at 145. Missed 145 initially. And I am joined in the booth by Gary Williams.
Well, I always know when the action's happening. I could smell the action.
Gary, this is the first time we're together officially. The band is back together, my friend.
That's right. We're putting the band back together. We're on a mission.
Right. We're on a mission. This is the world tour. We're going to make a pit stop in Sweden right now.
I'm just in time for the deadlifts, one of my favorite, favorite sessions.
Well, you're in luck if you like deads, because we have a bit of a battle here. You see the projected 519.5 and 520 neck and neck.
It is going to come down to that last couple of kilos, isn't it?
And the person in lead, was a lead, just half a kilo behind, is a Canadian. I'm trying to stay unbiased. Patrick Melafonte, 165. Looks good for it.
Yeah, that should be a good lift.
I should also mention the Canadian Vachon is the defending world champion, but he's got himself in the middle of a battle with a Finn, and the Finns are known for their deadlifts.
It's going to be a tough battle. I mean, we're 225 for his second attempt there. I mean, what's the world record? 235.
Let's take a look. It is.
So they're edging ever so close to those numbers, and it's no one's going to be game to take a shot at a world record and risk a gold medal.
Yeah, it really is. It's going to be a battle of literally historic proportions.
It might come down to having to pull a world record for a gold medal.
Simunder Gudmundsson, 170, 10 kilo jump from his opener. That's work, Gary. What do you think?
That's a lot of work for a second lift.
Yep.
And I reckon he only just locked those knees in, and one of the referees has picked up those knees.
What are you thinking for his jump from there?
Yeah, look, I wouldn't want to go any more than 5 kilos, and even that's probably a stretch.
Yep, 2.5 kilo for a deadlift is not much, but
when you're struggling to lock the knees out on a second, and they're getting tired, I mean, it's been a long day of lifting. This has been a long session. So they're starting to get a bit tired now.
Yasakura of Japan, 172.5. Speaking of 2.5 kilo jumps, rare you see a 2.5 kilo jump from an opener. I'm wondering if they just failed to get their second attempt in on time. If you don't, within the 60-minute time period, well, nope. Maybe that was the plan, because that looks.
It wasn't super fast.
No.
But yeah, if you don't get that attempt in a 60-second, it goes up to the automatic 2.5.
2.5, but you know what? That kind of looked like it was appropriate.
Maybe that was the plan.
I'm guessing only another 2.5 kilo off of that one either. Not many people do 2.5 kilo jumps in the deadlift event.
I mean, if you open it a little bit too high, then don't give yourself room to move. But I mean, it's the end of a long lifting session. I mean, it's tiring. 3 lifts, you know what that's like.
Energy conservation is literally half the battle. Literally half the battle. And 175 for Daniel Guinot of France. Looking at his profile, I mean, 160, he opened heavier than his previous personal best. It moved well despite the facial expressions.
It was smooth all the way through. I mean, it wasn't fast, but it was smooth. So
sometimes facial expressions lie too. Guys make them when they're in the warm-up room.
When you see
look at the bar speed.
You see some guys hit big yells and shouts for warm-up lift.
That's right. Mark Steiner, 185, 10 kilo jump. This is going to match his personal best. 40 years competing, Gary.
Yeah, he's a good lifter. He's been around for quite a while. You would have seen him at quite a number of international events. Plenty of experience. He's had to work hard for that one.
Yep.
It's got an interesting sumo sort of stance there. It's a little bit narrower than a normal.
Extremely narrow. Almost conventional. Towing that line.
Bit of a crossbreed there.
Hybrid, if you will. The host nation, Hans Winbo on Team Sweden, 192.5. His best is 205. And let's see if he handles this with a little room to spare. Right now, we've seen a lot of people, not a whole lot of room to spare.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough call. You've got a energy conversation. Your coaches have got to manage that enthusiasm and that aggression. And you see a lot of guys sometimes come out really aggressive on that first squat. By the time they get to their deadlifts, there's just nothing left in the tank anymore.
Yeah, it's rare when someone can maintain that intensity all day for all the lifts. 195 for Kevin Payne of Great Britain. 10-kilo jump off of his opener. 10 kilo below his personal best. Hopefully he's got a little extra room to spare.
And of course, our very own Ryan Sixpack Lapidat will be competing himself on Thursday. He's got the added advantage of being able to sit back and watch all the little things happening and take all that information in. And
Taking notes. I took notes of some of the cues you were giving your lifter you were handling the other day.
wow, that is a tough lift.
Yeah. And this is what I'm saying. There's little to no room there.
There's not much room to move there. And he gives a bit of a head shake as he walks off there. I think he was expecting that to be a lot easier. There's nothing quite as demoralising when you pick up that bar and you think, wow, that's a little heavier than I was expecting. Are you sure did you sure you loaded that right?
You start pointing towards a misload. Rino Puska, also on Team Sweden. 200 kilo even. Now, he's pulled 220 kilo previously. This is 20 kilo below his personal best, and it moves a little nicer.
He locked that out really well at the top. It wasn't super fast, but as soon as he got to that lockout, he just shot those hips through. There's plenty of room left in the tank for that one.
Yep. And with a battle like this, I mean, the second lifts of Vachon and Kipalainen are really going to be telling, because if they both hit them, they're within half a kilo of each other.
Yeah, look, and it's super important to get on the board, but you'll probably see the other coaches watching around the corner just to sort of gauge how hard it was for them and how much room they got left to move. What do we need to put in?
Yeah, it's a game of strategy as much as a game of strength. Ketil Olsen of Norway, 210 kilo, 10 kilo jump from his opener. Nope.
And just a little bit too much there. So just didn't seem to get into position very well.
So here we are. Marty Kipalainen of Finland closing the gap on the Canadian. If he could pull this off, we have ourselves a serious battle in the making.
And it'll be interesting because he's super close to his best lift.
You know, historically, in the squat and the bench event, he blew Ray Pass's best lifts on the profile. But his opener 205 was actually work. So I'm wondering if this, I'm wondering how much he has in the tank.
Well, we're about to find out.
Sure enough. Wow, that moved better than, look at though his fingers.
His grip only just held on there.
It moved faster than the opener, but his grip was all but gone by the time he got the down command. Could not come sooner.
If they had held him for another second.
Could not come sooner.
I think.
If I show him the back, it's like, hold it, hold.
I think another second would have shown the difference, but I mean, it moved fast. I mean, if he can hang on to that bar a bit better, I think there's 227.5. Maybe even 230 in the tank.
Let's see where Bernard, how he handles 225. He hits this, they're within half a kilo of each other, and the coaches now have to decide how much is too much to ask of your lifter and how much is too little.
You've got to be very careful what you put in. You've got to change up your sleeve, but you've sort of got to manage that change well.
Bernard Vachon. He does have the advantage. He pulls heavier, so he gets to pull last and see where Kipalainen leaves off at and just chip his total. He is all types of fired up. Wait till you see him in the third attempts. He comes out like a madman. It's work, but you know what? All of his squats look like that.
Yeah, look, I mean, you do. You see some guys that, their bodies just shake when they deadlift. I mean, and from their opening one or even their warm-up to their heaviest one. I mean, it might have looked like work. It moved fast. It moved smoothly.
His opening squat, I was thinking, wow, did he open too high? Because he shook, was slow, controlled, and then his second and then his third was a world record, and he was taking jumps, and it was like, wow, that's just how he moves?
Yeah, and, some of the athletes are just like that.
Yeah.
And so Finland have put in a 230.
And, maybe a placeholder, maybe not. Do you think he had 10 kilo in him, the way that grip was holding, or do you think that's just a placeholder?
I think he has 10 kilos in his pull. I don't think he has 10 kilos in his grip.
Well said. You know what? That's if he had straps in the gym, I think he could go all night.
Probably go to 240.
Yeah. I guess we're about to find out. It's going to be dramatic stuff. So 150 on the bar for Furata of Japan. Missed 145, came back and hit it in the second attempt, and hits 150 relatively smoothly. Gets it. Oh, he's a little dizzy.
Yeah, a little bit of a bit of head spin there, a little bit of blood rush and oxygen loss.
Been there, done that.
I think we've all sat down or gone close to falling down a few times.
Patrick Malafont, 175 on the bar. Patrick representing France.
Oh, this will be a 10-kilo personal best as well.
Well, you know, this is the place to go for these PRs. 10 kilo is a pretty ambitious personal best.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's not an unusual amount. I mean, to see a 10-kilo jump in, the under 74 opens or sub juniors, but juniors. But
10 kilo PB
energy,
though, yeah.
energy conservation is a little bit more difficult as we get a little bit older. I can speak from experience. And it was just didn't really want to move.
No, you know what? He probably stayed on the game plan the whole time and decided, look at last lift, world championships, allow me to make a big swing. If I miss, cool. If I hit it, it's out the home.
Yeah, look,
out the
and
park
you've got
home run.
nothing to lose.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
a bit different story if you're in a medal contention or going for a silver or gold medal, protect that medal. But when you've got nothing to lose,
I'm going to have to agree. Danielle Guinot, also of France. France has got a bit of a 1-2 punch here. They stacked the deck.
Yeah, they've had a pretty big team this year.
180 loaded on the bar for him. It's a 15 kilo PR. Oh, wow.
Oh,
I can't
it's
believe
a
this
lot
is
of work.
moving.
I thought that was going to stop, but he
Well,
kept it going. Whether he can lock that or not, though,
I don't know if they're going to like the knees.
No, his knees just didn't lock.
You know,
Man.
I'll give him this, though. I didn't think initially, I thought it was just coming in, off the ground, that's it.
Look, I thought once it went past his ankles, that was it. But somehow,
Tons of heart. He could be proud of it.
He moved that all the way up.
You know, some lifts, even if you miss, you could be proud of the effort you gave. You post it, and people will give you kudos.
Lifted it.
Yeah. If untidy, obviously, if that was a gym, that'd be a gym PR. And Akinori, Yasukara from Japan, taking 182.5, a 2.5 kilo PR, a little more reasonable. Usually, if you're going to best your previous lifts, it's not going to be massive gains if you've been in the game for 15 years. Let's see if he's got it. It is a 10 kilo. It's a sizable jump, 10 kilo jump, but a 2.5 kilo PR.
Yeah, it's quite a sizable jump, having seen his second lift as well.
Nope.
And just a little bit too much. I think 177.5 probably would have been
Yeah, a little more
the end of the
appropriate.
tank.
Now, we both thought Joe Mark Steiner's 185 was difficult. You thought maybe 5 kilo. He went 5 kilo.
He's gone the 5.
Then you said maybe 5 kilos is too much, so we're about to find out.
And knowing him, he's going to prove me wrong.
Well,
He's got a habit of that.
he is obviously.
I'm pretty sure he sits out the back listening to this and says, well, hang on, watch this.
If for no other reason, motivation.
I'm sure the coaches sit out the back and said, hey, they said you couldn't do 5 kilos. Oh, watch this.
Even if we did.
Hold my
Even if
beer.
we did say he could do it. It's always nice motivation. Now, Joe.
It's a really interesting
Yep, it's
setup.
unique. It's unique.
It's very unique.
Nope, not
And
today.
it's just not quite there.
He gives a
And
wave. Yep.
You know what? I mean, he's a fantastic lifter and a great guy all around as well.
Yep, and as previously noted, the inventor of the IPF formula.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. 197 for Hans Winbo of Sweden. Obviously, Sweden, the host nation, and they got a really full team. Every single flight I've seen, Sweden's had 1 or 2 lifters, and they're quality. In the
And
open,
we've had a change put in, have we?
is that right?
Kevin
Oh.
Payne now. I think we had a change drop in there.
Yep.
So in the deadlift, you've got up till the time bar loaded is called to put a change in. So if you can get a change into that change booth before they call bar loaded.
Who changed it, though? Was it Kevin Payne?
Now, I think...
Because I'm not sure. His position, he's in 11th. He could change, but it wouldn't be to jockey around in position.
So this will... Well, the 200 will temporarily shift him up to bronze in the deadlift. But, I mean, going by everyone else's lifts,
Yeah, we have a lot of lifting. I mean, yeah, it would.
And that was too much.
He would need a lot of people to not hit their lifts as well. But I mean, whatever.
So,
Last dead, give it a go.
Hans Wimbo. So I think Hans Wimbo popped his up to 202.5.
Yeah, and this is still 2.5 kilo below his previous personal best. Hans is not dealing with time zone changes. From Sweden, he may have had to travel, but not crossing any oceans.
You certainly had the advantage being in your home country.
Yeah, so if you're going to be around your best form, it's probably in this scenario. Nope.
And just a little bit too much today. I mean, it's warm out in that warm-up room.
Is it?
Yeah, it's quite hot out there. So I mean, it's taking its toll on some of these guys a little bit as well.
210. One more swing at it for Ketil Olsen from Norway. Missed it on a second attempt. Would like another go at
and
it.
this is really where it comes down to technique and just getting yourself in that perfect position and fighting against it. And when you get into a deadlift position, the bar wants to pull you one way and shift away. You've got to get yourself right that bar path.
If he does hit it, I mean, if he wants a little motivation extra from his second attempt, this would put him in bronze medal position for the Deads. A medal at the Worlds means quite a bit.
Oh boy, that moved a lot better.
Oh, wow. And looks like a little extra motivation was all he needed.
And did he lock those knees out? I think it looked like he did.
I think he did.
He's got it on the board.
2-1 and just pulled himself into bronze medal for the Deads.
Yeah, it shows what you can do if you just get that technique right.
You know, honestly, if you know a medal's on the line, second attempts, it is what it is. Third attempts, your coach says, listen to me, one pull and a medal goes around your neck. Now, having said that, Rino Puska of Sweden can take that medal from him, tying him on the dead, but edging him out via body weight.
Yeah, he's just a fraction lighter there, isn't he? What is he, about a kilo lighter?
Very close foot stance. Ooh,
And
nope.
it's just a little too much. It moved well off the floor, but then just slowed right down.
The brakes came on quick. Now, here we go. Here's going to be the conclusion.
Now, will we see a change go in at all?
Yeah. Marty Kipalainen of Finland and Vachon of Canada.
There's the change. Finland has jumped to 232.5 now.
So I just, based off the 220 and the grip you saw, is 232.5 ambitious?
It's a big, big call.
I mean, at what point does Bernard just say, you go ahead and try that. I'm pretty confident you don't have it in you.
Yeah.
I'm going to do 230, and I think I'm pushing you further than you can go.
And the coach would have been watching that lift as well.
Yeah.
And he'll be saying, well, you know, he's putting 232.5, but I'm 100% confident he can't hit it.
Yeah.
And I can see some shuffling around from the American coaches.
At the very least, 99%. Yeah.
Yeah, they were going to change. No, they're not going to change.
That's Vicky Hood. She's the head coach for the Masters. And they're saying, you know what? And I think it's right. Look, if you keep pushing, eventually you're going to miss your dead. And look at Kipalainen can afford, if he's telling himself, if we both miss, fine by me because I'm slightly ahead. So he wants to bluff, go heavy, and think that you're going to chase.
That's part of the strategy. Try
me.
and push them into it a little bit.
Yeah. Raise your dead because I raised mine. Let's both miss our thirds. That's fine by me. But Bernard and the Canadian team says, no, we're going to stay at 230. Thank you very much. For the World Championship. Oh, my. Did I tell you he's a fighter? Did I not tell you he's a fighter?
All the way.
Are those shoulders back, though?
I don't think he's locked out of the top.
I don't think they're going to like that.
No, not quite.
I tell you what, though. I told you he's a fighter, and the guy's a gutty.
He tell you what, he put in everything on that lift. So now,
and they're going to go to the jury table.
Yeah, I thought they would.
As you have to. I mean, look, you got a one white. You're allowed to go to the jury, approach it, ask the question. Even if they say no, you have to, at least pose it.
I think you always owe it to your athlete too. If it's one of those ones where you're not quite sure of as well.
If you got a shot, you got to take it.
Yeah, you always owe it to your athlete.
Having said that, now Marty need not even hit this dead. He played it well. I'll give him that. He played it well. Threw on a big number on there. I don't know if I'm going to hit it, but chase me.
Absolutely.
Because if we both miss, I win. And this is just for pride and sake of adding kilos to his total.
Wow. And there goes the grip. You
Yeah.
can see that grip starting to go.
But I tell you what,
He
it
has
moved
the
well.
strength. He
He's got
has the
strength all
power
day.
to pull that weight, but he just doesn't have the grip on it.
And look at this, only 2 hits in a sea of red, in
Wow.
a sea of misses. And this is why, you got to pace yourself. You start running a little bit out of steam. But that was one hell of a battle between Vachon and Kipalainen. The Canadian in it right up until the end, literally the last inch.
And half a kilo. That's all it comes down to is half a kilo in that gold medal. Wow, what a finish.
I got a feeling we're going to see some rematches in years to come. Listen, my man, I'm glad you came in to join me. The band is back together.
Always like to sniff out the action, mate.
We're going to have to do this again. So from Six Pack Lapidat and Gary Williams, I hope you enjoyed the Masters 3 74 kilo class. Stay tuned for the medal ceremony.
Then we start the prize ceremony. We start with a squat for 74 kilo, master 3. On third place, we have Joseph Marksteiner, United States of America, 187.5 kilo. Second place, we have Reino Puska, Sverige, 192.5 kilo. And first place, Bernard Machon from Canada, 207 kilo. The new world record. Thank you, gentlemen. We go to bench press. On third place, we have Kevin Nilsson from Norge, 117,5 kilo, 170.5 kilo. Second place, Martti Kilpeläinen, Suomi, 130 kilo. First place, Ruko Furuta, Japan, 132.5 kilo. Thank you very much. We'll take the deadlift. Third place, Ketil Olsen, Norge, 210 kilo. Second place, Martti Kilpeläinen, Vietnam, 220 kilo. And first place, Bernard Machon, Canada, 225 kilo. Thank you, gentlemen. We take totals. Third place, we have from Sweden, Reino Puska, 502.5 kilo. Second place, Bernard Machon, Canada, 590.5 kilo. And the winner is Martti Kilpeläinen, Finland, 520 kilo. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the anthem or national anthem of Finland. Thank you, gentlemen. That will take 3 kilo, master 3. And in squat, we have third place, Heimo Hukkuori, Finland, 187.5 kilo. Second place, John Laflamme, United States of America, 192.5 kilo. And on first place, we have Gudmund Andersen, Norge, 210 kilo. kilos. Second place, Peter Meister, Germany. The same weight, 120 kilos. First place, Heiko Hukuri, Norway, 127.5 kilos. Back to you, England. You take a deadlift moment. Third place, Ron Delaney from Canada, 225 kilos. Second place, Tormod Andersen, Norge, 232.5 kilos. First place, John Lafan, United States of America, 240 kilos. Thank you, gentlemen. And now for the totals. On third place, Heimo Huppavori, Finland, 520 kilos. Second place, John Lafan, United States of America, 525 kilos. First place, Tormod Andersen, Norge, 550 kilos. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the national anthem of Norway.
Names, let's go through the names.
No. No. Venom.
Okay.
Frank.
Wonderlich.
Yoshi Katsu, Tekka Sean, Henry Thomas, Jeffrey Phillips, Pascal Quadra, Eric
Please for the next session.